You have written a smart contract and in that you have a function. When you are calling that function from the front end side, it's getting failed due to gas. And this one is the most common error you will face when you're going to connect the smart contract from the front end and try to execute the transaction. So in this video, I'll tell you that how you can calculate the gas dynamically or you can go with the hard code. And when it's come to defining the gas, it's all depend on the testing and the kind of application you are building. Sometimes calculating the gas dynamically helps you to minimize the cost of the transaction, but sometimes you have to go with the fixed gas cost. That's all I'm going to talk about it. This is the complete project we have built together on our staking dApp. I hope you guys have followed that. So in this particular function, you will notice this one, that I have a function this called deposit. And what this function does, it's allow the user to deposit their ERC20 token in the staking contract so they can start earning the reward. And here I'm using this special method to calculate the gas consumption dynamically. So in EtherJS, we have a function called EstimateGas, which we can use to calculate the gas consumption dynamically. So you can see this is the method I'm using. So this is my contract. On that, I'm simply calling this particular method. So if I show you the contract, if I go to the staking dApp, so here I have the deposit function. In that, I'm passing two arguments. One is the pool ID and the other one is the amount. But when I'm calling this particular function from the front end side and I'm connecting with the dApp, in that I'm first calculating this. So if you want to calculate the gas consumption of the function dynamically, this is how you can do it. So first you have to call this contract, and in that you will have this particular method. So what I will do is I'm going to simply comment all of that. Let's comment this one to check the contract. So this is the contract I have. I want to see the contract console logout here. So come back here and let's try to call one more time to check the function is working fine and we are getting the data. So this is the withdraw method we have, and we can call this invest, and I want to give this amount 10 and click on this proceed. And it's making the call, and you will see as soon as it will make the call, I'll get the data. So here I got all of these details, and here I got the contract. If I come back here, you can see in this particular contract, here we have this particular method which allows us to calculate the gas consumption. So if I open this one, you can see estimate gas, and that's all the method we have. So if you want to calculate the gas consumption dynamically of any one of the function which you have included in the smart contract, you can do it. So we are calling this deposit, and in that we are passing these two arguments. UNT variable. So this is the method I'm calling. If I take you back to the code, you will see that I'm simply calling this particular method. This is the contract I have, and I'm calling this, and then you have to give the name of the function. So this is the architecture we are following when we have to simply calculate it. So what I will do, I'll simply comment this, and I'm going to bring all of this back so I can provide the allowance as well. So let's bring it all back, and now let's try to make the transaction. So this is what I have. I'm going to simply remove this portion, remove this one, and this is the way gas consumption I got it. Once I have that, I will simply take this dynamic gas and I can simply copy and paste here, and this is what I'm exactly passing here in our gas limit. So this one is a dynamic one. So let's try to make a call. You can see I got the contract and all the details about my contract. Everything's looking great. Now let's try to call the function. So if I call this minimum one, you can call it any one. So I'll go with this one, and I want to deposit, let's say 30 token, and click on this proceed, and you can see it will make the call to my smart contract. And here I'm getting this particular error, cannot access gas estimation before initialization. Okay, somewhere I have did the mistake. So if I come back here, this is the problem. So simply remove this one, and now I can simply reload the page, and you will see that I can able to calculate the gas consumption dynamically. So it's loading the data, and we got all of this detail. So our pop-up model, everything is working fine. You can click and you can simply have the details. So make sure to check the complete project. So come back here, and this time I'll pick this one, invest. I click on this 40 token, click on this proceed, and it's going to make a call to our smart contract. So for it's approving, you can see we have to approve our token. So click on next, approve, and here we have approved the token. So as soon as the transaction get completed and our token gets approved, we'll get a next function which allows us to simply stick the token in the contract. So here the transaction is in the pending state because we are doing the transaction on the actual test network, not in our local environment. So I would highly encourage you to follow the complete project. This is one of the projects which you have to include in your portfolio if you really want to work in a decentralized finance, decentralized ecosystem. This will help you to increase your understanding that how financial product exactly work on a decentralized ecosystem. So it's taking a little bit time. Once the transaction will complete, you will have all the details about the approval, and we'll get another function. So just wait. And finally, the transaction is completed. You can see we got it, and we got another function. If I call this, here I got it. I can simply click on this confirm, and here we got this deposit. And you can see one thing here. Here we got this estimated. So we have approved the token, and this is our gas consumption fund. You can simply convert it into a normal way or ether. So this is how you can calculate the gas consumption dynamically. You can see this is what I'm getting from the contract. And finally, the transaction is completed and we have staked our token in the contract. So this is one way of calculating the gas dynamically within the function, and when you calculate the gas in this way, your transaction will never fail. But sometimes it takes higher gas, and sometimes it takes little longer to make the transaction. So this is one way of doing the transaction with the gas. Now there is another method which we generally use when we have to deal with the token system. So if I come back here in the buy token function, here I have used a different method to calculate the gas consumption, because when I was going with the dynamic one, the transaction was failing. So this is another way which you can use it to complete the transaction. So you can simply play around with this value. You have to do a little bit testing before you actually go on the production. That's why these test networks are there. So you can use any method to provide the gas consumption in the smart contract, but always test and try to find out that which one is the best. When I was going with that approach, it was costing me higher amount. That's why I take this fixed value, which completing the transaction is not getting failed. But with that one, it was costing a little higher and the transaction was, sometimes it was failing. So I take this particular approach. And that's how you have to test. As a developer, you have to test every single functionality which you have built. So you have to test that how much is going to cost when it's going to make the transaction. So it's very important. So this is the two way which you can define gas consumption in your smart contract when you are calling your smart contract function. So I hope you guys have understood. And again, I would highly encourage you to build this particular project. You will learn almost every single thing which you have to know about the decentralized finance, that how exactly it work, how you can build a financial product on top of decentralized protocol. So it's really big. We have multiple feature we have included. So if I show you the admin panel, we have where you can able to control the entire project manually, where you can create multiple pools. So we have tons of feature. You can see all the surplus, all the token details, that's all we have provided. So I would encourage you to follow this project, and where you can do the testing of the manual and the dynamic one. We have used both the one. So that's the only thing I want to cover in this video. I hope you guys have understood that what exactly is there and how you can calculate the gas consumption dynamically, as well as going with the hard code value.